Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond Dafeet. In this video we're going to have a look at the new Brooks Bedlam 3. So this is their Energized stability shoe. So if you are looking for something that gives you a bit more back than the Adrenaline or the Transcend, still have a bit of stability there and still quite a bit of energy return, Brooks are chucking the Bedlam 3 at you. And it's actually dialed in a lot better than the Bedlam 2. The Bedlam 1 was a complete botch, we won't touch on that. Looking at the DNA amp, it's kind of got a New Balance fuel cell look to it. It's not as kind of soft as a fuel cell though. The DNA amp is Brooks's go with that kind of thermoplastic cushioning system. They have refined it a few times after the initial release in the Levitate. Looking at the stability system in the Bedlam 3, they are using that guide rail on the medial side as well as the lateral side. Pretty sure they've changed up it from DNA amp to their Biomogo, so with the stability system you kind of want to have a slight bit of firmness there so it actually does something. So on that medial side you do have, I think it's pretty much a Biomogo DNA medial support there. So guides the foot nicely throughout its step. And just having a look at the outsole for a second. So this is one of the most durable outsoles I think Brooks has released. A lot of outsole on that medial side just to help with the stability as well as the durability when it comes to the outsole itself. The outsole does act as quite a lot of a kind of a stiff board. Since the DNA amp does have quite a bit of flexibility to it, you do need to have something there that does offer a bit of stability itself. So a lot of support on that medial side running the whole way through that outsole. Slight bit of flex screws on that lateral side. I think this is kind of making a bit of a detriment to the DNA amp itself. Just with how rigid and stiff the outsole is, it does kind of take away from a bit of that energy return or kind of slightly more flexible feel you want in a shoe that has a bit of energy return. So I think if they even added a few more flex screws in that forefoot just there on that medial side, just to get you feel a bit more springier on the step. Yeah, it's a solid outsole. You're not going to wear through that at all anytime soon, and it's just going to last you a ton of Ks, and it's pretty sticky as far as an outsole goes as well. Moving on to the midsole, so this is their Energized DNA amps. You're going to get a bit more back than what you put in when it comes to things like the Biomogo DNA or the DNA Loft. It's a DNA Loft that the Transcend uses. You're going to sink in a bit more, whereas the Adrenaline uses DNA Loft as well as Biomogo DNA, so it's slightly bit more of a firmer feel. You don't get as much energy return as a Bedlam. So with the Bedlam you're just going to have a lot more propulsion. You're going to still sink in quite nicely, but you're just going to get a lot more back for what you put down. So if you are looking for a tempo shoe or even a speed shoe that has slightly bit more stability to it, the Bedlam can easily tick that for you. And compared to the Bedlam 2, the midsole is 20% lighter, so underneath the foot it's going to feel quite alright. I think it comes in around 305 grams, so it's actually not too bad for a stability shoe's weight these days. Most are kind of trying to get underneath that infamous 300 grams. This is nearing to it in the Bedlam 3. Moving on to the upper, this is probably one of the strangest uppers I've ever put on my foot. Fits very, very shallow, so if you do have a high instep, this won't fit your foot at all. Basically, since the tongue doesn't start till about halfway up your instep, and it's just using a very nice knit that Brooks have dialed in, very shallow around the toe box. They do seem to have a plastic cap underneath your toes, so just be wary of that. It is a very nice fitting upper, but it is very, very shallow. I do have quite a shallow foot myself, and it was even quite a bit shallow for me, but very nice and breathable. There's not a whole lot of stretch in the upper at all compared to something like your Hypo Knit by New Balance that has a bit more give in it. This just will remain a bit more structured over the long runs, even as far as getting into the later life of the shoe. As I touched on just then, with the tongue on it, it doesn't start till about there, and it's just basically just kind of a flap more than a tongue. It won't slip down to the lateral side at all, just since there isn't much of a tongue there. A bit of 3D printing around the eyelet chain, so over the later stages of the shoe, it won't just be breaking down. You can still get a nice firm lockdown over there. Even if you chuck a bit of elastic lacing in, then most of the can easily just fit and feel like a second sock. Solid heel counter. Things that they did kind of botch in the last Bedlam series was just didn't get a nice firm lockdown in the heel, but they've got a nice concave area there. There's not a whole lot of cushioning on the heel at all, but just easily accommodates for most foot shapes. Easy pull tag as well, so one of the only Brooks' shoes that actually have a pull tag, but you can easily pop it on there, since you probably do need a pull tag with this shoe just to get that quite a bit more of a aggressive slide in. But yeah, very nicely dialed in upper. I think they could probably increase the depth a slight bit. If they did increase the depth a bit, it could easily sell quite a few more, since it will accommodate for quite a few more foot types. Nicely updated shoe by Brooks in the Bedlam series. They're definitely making a step in the right direction. Just a few little changes to this series. If they release the 4 and have made those shoe changes, I think it could actually become a good shoe. Anyways, if you have any more questions about the Bedlam 3, just let us know in the comments. We'll be comparing this to a few other stability shoes on the market in the upcoming videos. We'll see you later.